In this video, I'm going to share with you the simple fact that may well be holding you back from being happy in your life. And you're going to be surprised to hear that it's not your fault. You're going to get some really good clarity from what I share with you today. And it's probably going to be clarity that you've never received ever in your life. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, because I'm on a mission to share my knowledge and what I have learned about how to make yourself happy in your life and your career. When I share what I'm about to talk about today in this video with my clients, they are actually shocked by the simplicity. It's like, can it be so simple? And it's because, many of them have been in therapy, counselling, where it's just this treadmill of going back over the past, causing them to, I suppose, continually think about blocks in their life over being proactive in moving forward. So providing this more accessible context for them allows them to propel forward with such a speed that they're so shocked and surprised. They shift really quickly into a new paradigm or way of thinking that totally serves them. So I want you to think about it this way. In our society, we are so prepared for work. We have all of the resources, all of the reinforcements around us to help us excel at work. And guess what? That is why we are good in our job role. Because from the age of 5, or even earlier in some cases, we were sent off to school or nursery, and from all angles, we were prepared, because in an industrial society, that was the intention, to prepare people for work. And I think this is the dominance that is sort of playing out in our society today. So we are primed through education, all angles, from our colleagues, the key messages that are sent through government, from our peers, our friends, our families, and it is all around working hard, finding a job and working hard. Yeah? And guess what? Our self-belief in our abilities are as a result of this whole mechanism of preparation. So our self-belief is so strong because of the machinery that has enabled us to develop the skill set, the mindset, and believing in possibilities around what we do. So actually this helps us in being really good at what we do. In contrast, however, we can develop an over-reliance on what we do for our self-worth. And it is this sort of imbalance that I know for sure is the thing that can sap our self-belief in relation to other areas of our life. When we overly rely on our confidence coming from what we do, warning bells, then it can mean that we are underdeveloped in other areas. Share in the comments below if you believe that your self-worth comes from what you do to a high extent. So what's happened, all of the elements that have helped you to believe in yourself when it comes to what you do is as a result of a building and a strengthening of a neural pathway in your brain that is saying to you, sending messages that you are good at what you do. Yeah, no one can touch you. You are good at what you do. If, however, you are feeling unhappy or in other areas of your life, or even if you feel unhappy about where you are in your career, because being taught how to be good in a particular job role is not the same as being taught how to market and sell yourself in reaching higher aspirations. That's different, yeah? So if we feel unhappy in any other areas of our life, and it could still be our career, it could be to do with relationships, love, it's because you have not built the same strong neural foundation in your brain. So I've invested many years in strengthening my neural pathways away from like a mad over-reliance on my self-belief coming from work. And that was just because it was the first place that I received validation, and people said, yes, you're good at this. And I was like, right, I love this. And I became addicted to it. But I learned over many years how to develop the other important neural pathways in my brain, and that was to enabled me to become a mother. It enabled me to have a proper relationship and get married. It's enabled me to do so many more things, and it's enabled me to be happy. I am literally happy virtually most of the time, the majority of the time. So if we think about what has gone into helping us to learn how to be happy, which comes from a place of loving ourselves unconditionally, no matter how controversial that may appear to you. I love myself, of course I love myself, but do you really love yourself? So how this has, I suppose, evolved for us is we receive reinforcements, we receive guidance, we receive information from a range of sources. I would say the main source is from our parents and from our family, our prime carers. And what if they didn't have the capacity to be able to really teach us how to become strong, confident adults, and instead they passed on their limitations? And basically, the strategy that has been applied that has helped us to achieve a strong belief in what we do in work has been a strong strategy. The strategy we're using to be happy in our life, to be confident, is one based on hearsay. It's very flaky. Is it even a strategy? It's not a strategy. That is why you don't feel happy. Yeah? And this is the thing, as simple as it may sound, this is the thing, once you get it and receive it, is the cause of how you're feeling. And the thing that I think gets people into a pickle is they start down the pathway of, well, I've got to be more positive. Let's try and be positive, which actually, when you try to find things to be positive about, it makes you more negative because you're judging. You're in the, well, positive is good and negative is bad. What is even positive and what is even negative, I ask? These strategies are flimsy, and these strategies are the strategies that cause you to feel not so great. Now, I know you're good in your job role. If your manager or if you were assigned a particular challenge to do a project, you would not base your approach on hearsay or bits of, well, maybe it could be this. Maybe I'll just be positive. I'll just think thoughts of it being achieved and it will be done. Yeah. So why then are we not using some of the same principles we use in an area that we're really good at, work, our job, with other areas of our life? And it's because when we have a way of thinking, it can actually be in such a polar opposite realm that we cannot touch base with it. So what I'm saying in this video to you is become aware of your ability to evolve a new way of thinking that actually serves you when it comes to being confident and happy in other areas of your life. So this piecemeal strategy, and I'm all about strategy, I probably use the words too many times, but I'm about being strategic and adopting self-leadership skills in my own personal life. That's how in a way, I've transferred from being a leader to being a really strong self-leader. Yeah. And I literally take umbrage to the lack of foundational support, the lack of prioritization when it comes to helping individuals in our society to be confident and happy. So because I feel so strongly about it, that's why I do what I do. You see, this was my story. It was my story to overwork, to burn out, just to push through, almost like to exist. When I was overworking and burning out, I had no time for meaningful relationships. I had no time for real family. I only had time for work because my self-validation came from it. And I feel it is my purpose in life to share what I've learned. And I like the simplicity aspect of all of this. I've been in therapy before, I've been in counselling, and what I found, I felt as if I was going round and round in circles. I need the logical side as well as the mindset side. I need to understand to some degree the strategy, but then I need to understand what I need to tap into to move forward. So I wrote a book. Which began as a legacy for my son, but actually I'm wanting to share this book with the world. And this video actually isn't about promoting my book. This video is about sharing a principle that I totally believe in. So a key question that I ask my clients, often, I say to them, do you love yourself? And And they're like, of course I love myself, Yvonne. And I'm like, okay, I want you to share with me how you speak with yourself. And when they share the words that they speak to themselves, I explain to them that even though they might think it's loving, it is actually quite neglectful, and their self-chatter isn't very encouraging. It's quite put-down laden, and the energetics is one of a lack of patience and intolerance. And it's when we start to change this mindset chatter that they start to see results. Another key question that I ask them is, and I want you to consider the answer to this question as well. Did you ever at any point as a young person or as a child say, I don't want to be like my parent or my carer. I don't want to be an adult. If you've ever, from an emotional deep pit in the stomach stance, said this thing, you need to be careful. And most of the clients, when I ask this question, say, yes, I actually remember saying when I didn't want to be an adult. I mean, while this rebellion, this rebellious response is understandable as a child, it actually can lead to you having difficulties in embracing your self-leadership and adulting responsibilities, which again can lead to you not being happy. And so then what tends to happen is, I refer to it as a dualistic approach occurs, whereby at work you are the perfect adult performing, you're doing so well, but personally there's a rebellion. You are that child that thinks being an adult isn't fun, and you become instead a limiting adult. And actually the very people that you were rebelling against, where you decided you didn't want to be that version of an adult, they were probably not being effective adults either. So you were in fact replicating becoming a limited adult. I know that sounds all a bit sort of complicated, but it's very clear actually. When we declare we don't want to be an adult, it can then impact areas of our life. So we probably had enough conditioning to not take it into our work, and so often this is where the dualism occurs. It's like, right, I am really focused and I self-lead when it comes to what I do. That's why I'm good at it and that's why I believe in it. But when it comes to all other areas of my life, I just go free and easy and lack the boundaries and the parameters you need actually to be happy, because you said you don't want to be an adult in all areas of your life. But you know what that causes? You to evolve a limiting adult, a childlike adult, that results in you being unhappy and unfulfilled in your life, because you don't have in place the required parameters that you need to be a kind, loving, communicative adult. Doesn't mean that you have to be a strict and horrible adult. You can evolve a way of being that is conducive to the life that you live. Yeah. So the key is to learn about self-parenting and self-leadership. As human beings, we have access to the ability to learn so much, and it's a really great opportunity to touch base with the resources we already have and grow in them, so we can learn how to love ourselves unconditionally, have a self-talk that is reinforcing, because it's this that leads to you generating vibes that resonate on a positive frequency. Trying to be positive doesn't lead to the same outcome. Trying to be positive is you trying to force yourself to say the words and do the things that are positive. But actually, when you're on a quest towards being optimistic and generating positive vibes, you are generating the feelings through what you do, then it's a completely different journey and commitment. So this, as I said in the beginning, is my simple interpretation of what is probably going on for you. So it doesn't mean that you have to start from scratch. From this moment, you can make change if you have a deep enough commitment to wanting a different experience. And it is about trusting the process, trusting yourself, being brave, and taking a leap of faith. I've created a free guide for you on the 5 steps towards revolutionizing my happiness vibe through not just being positive. And I want to share that with you, because I think if you do the work in there, then you're going to start to feel quite different. Step up and be the adult. If you're listening to this video at this point, there's a spark of you that does require change, want change. And this is you building that spark into a powerful, dominant, neural pathway in your mind and in your life, driving you towards the change that you truly desire. So thanks for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Take action. You can do this. I believe in you.